or I'm straight, I don't know. Okay, whatever. We'll bring it as we go. You got that one? Okay. It is October 19th, 2017. We're calling the Lolita Community Service District Board to meeting. It is 7:06. Roll call, please.
Jim Carr,
Here.
Jack Allen, David Goodrich,
Here.
John Sarico.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, presidential, I don't really have anything at this moment. Move on. September 21st minutes. Everybody read and
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second you.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, minutes of September is gone. Written and oral. Okay, this is the county sent us a thing. We made some interest, $2,361.91. That'd been through June then, right? Because it came out July 1st, isn't it the 7th?
Beginning fourth quarter or end?
Well, that should be it.
That's the end.
Per quarter, right?
Our financial year starts July 1st, so
Well,
that's through.
this is the.
Yeah, so that's the end.
Well,
Oh,
well,
here.
with the banks, I don't.
I'm assuming that this is.
County Humboldt.
Yeah.
They're on the same financial schedule we
It
are.
says
Oh,
for
all
the
right.
period
So that
April
was-
through June 2017.
Yeah.
Is that for the 3 months then? Is it the 2,300 or is that the year? Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah, so I thought, okay. Good tip. Yeah, I have the shark stick. Okay. There's something else. I get my crap out of order. Okay. Public. You guys are all for later. Well, we got the SDRMA. That was Dave. I'm assuming he gave me page 6.
Oh, you want to do five?
I heard back from the adjuster. This is for the,
Yeah, the lemon tree.
yeah,
Lemon tree and everything else, yeah, we got paid out by, SDRMA for the rest of the install for that lemon tree system. So I turned in all the invoices and we got the payment.
okay, so they opened it and.
They opened up the payment, yeah.
Okay. Cool beans. I guess. Any other? General manager report.
I like this, so.
Was that?
Yeah, you wrote this.
Alright.
Page 5.
Yeah, not really too much on here, but, I was looking at, purchasing a computer for the office there, for the manager's office, because, some of the, computer program is running a little slow on that, so I'd like to, purchase a computer on that.
What's the location?
What's that?
Is that the water treatment?
No, at the office there.
Office would be both.
That's my computer.
Mine.
Because you've had that one now for,
2?
It's on, I think it's,
yours is what, 4, 3? 3.
we got, that
Because
was,
Ann
I
just
think
got
it
hers.
2 to 3 years and I got it for 150
Yeah,
refurb.
yeah, it's a refurb.
Where?
And the monitor was gotten in 2014 on yours.
Yeah, yeah, it's 3.
And
See,
yours.
his is 3 years old, right?
And
And yours
then
is,
his computer was earlier than that,
yeah,
but the monitor was 14.
yes, sir.
Thank you. Heads up to everybody, I-9 processor is going to be coming out this year or next year. That's a huge leap.
What was the first part of it in here?
The what?
What's coming up?
I-9.
Oh,
processor, that's double the cores. We're at 4 now, it'd be 9 cores. The condition of that office computer has a mechanical hard drive, and it's small. It's 256 gigs. A bigger hard drive, a solid state drive, cleanup would speed it up to even faster than it was when it was purchased, if you can endure the wait. I can speed that up for you.
Well, what's the
And then
cost?
you'll end up with a rocket ship next year.
So you mean just upgrade the computer that you already have?
Basically clean it. He has, every user has installation files, and unless, in Windows 7, which I think that's what you're running, it doesn't automatically clean. Windows 10 does, so Ann's taking care of, she has onboard everything taking care of itself, but that other technology does not. So unless you have a tech going in there, which I would do that for you, for nothing, then yeah, you're going to suffer a constant slower, and that hard drive alone is too small.
Well, I guess we got a couple of choices then. You can ask down the road there, you did Ann's, and see what he would get you one for, or is that his quote, $1,000?
That's his code.
Well,
That's-
we haven't got a quote yet,
Okay.
it's just, you know, I was.
Oh, that's what
Ann
Ann
said-
wants, right?
He
Ann
said
got
that would
hers
be
for,
high
you know,
end. He did, I confirmed with him today, that 1,000 would cover it.
we covered it.
Okay.
No, it was one that I looked at that had an i5 processor in it though. The one I was looking at.
How much was it?
It was a 649, and then I wanted to put the Microsoft Office on it and upgrade to that.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's, if Marcus would see that.
Well, it's not my computer, so, I mean, I can work with what I have, I'm the one who recommended it, but it does go slow, no question. Part of that's our internet, part of that is not our internet, part of that is even booting up is now probably over a minute.
Yeah, it's the hard drive, I think.
Well, I just don't, the Microsoft Office is the one.
Oh, and I don't even have
problems
Office
with.
installed, I
I don't
have
know.
Excel only, but it has a glitch, it won't open a file, open, it will open the program and then you have to go find the file. So if you click on an Excel file, for instance, an email, you have to download it, go open Excel, then go
That's-
find it.
Well,
That's your hard drive. It is.
Okay,
yeah.
and I don't have Word at all.
Yeah.
You have
I have
Open Office? Yeah, I like that.
I'm just saying, that's what I have.
Yeah.
So what do you think it would cost, John? And how long would the wait be?
To do what I'm talking about, get the part, and it's a 15-minute job, and the cleaning or whatever.
Do you think my motherboard would survive? I mean, no, honestly, it's an
And the
old,
power supply
If
too.
you want, I can open it up and blow it out, in dust like that, and then take a look at it and then give you a more definite answer. It won't cost you anything. No downtime.
well, I might lose the computer, but I can, if I know that's gonna happen, I can back up everything. But, and I have mine has Windows 8 at home. I mean, again, I used to only have one computer.
On yours, understand you won't even have to back it up. I'm gonna get a brand new hard drive, install the operating system, it becomes the C drive, and you keep the one you've got in the same condition.
When you blow it out,
Yeah.
I would want to back it up before you
Yeah,
blow it out.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Look.
compressed air.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we could remove the hardware.
Just
I
once,
can remove
once
the
you're
hard
opening a
drive for you.
computer, I back it up. I have no problem waiting a month and having to do that, and then hopefully coming in with a better number. Not a lower number, just a more solid number.
Yeah, everybody start figuring that one out. Figure out what all you're gonna need to get up to the modern age, I guess. Would be the word.
I'm not playing games there, so.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. Water.
Water, as we discussed, we received our payment from SDRMA section on, just on the other side of the slough there. It has, a good sized crack all around the top of it, and a couple of chunks falling out of it, which is there.
Yeah.
You had a little minnow fish?
Yeah, we found a little minnow fish when we were doing that at the wastewater plant when we were up there filming it out. Falling down in the outfall.
Actually, how big were
Just
little tiny, like
fish.
mosquito fish or something?
Let's say, yeah, I don't know what'd you say they were, Jeff? What do you think?
I'm not sure what they're actually called. The name that was used for them is offensive, so I won't repeat it.
Our main interest is when, we had that huge Sarico problem in our plant. We were overrun with Sarico, but the wrong kind, like we found out, not the same kind they test for. But they told us to put fish in the clarifier.
And
Eat the Sarico.
Really?
But I didn't think the fish would survive in the clarifier. But what you're saying, if it was right there, then they would survive in the clarifier.
Oh, we would. Should.
Because it's basically the same thing.
Wow.
Because it's before the chlorination, so they're not getting chlorinated, but we would be feeding them just, and we still get signs of ceradapnia in our second aeration chamber. So whenever I'm doing a settlement, I get 3, 4, 5 of them start coming out.
Oh, really?
So they're still in there. And I'm afraid that the next go around, next summer, just come right back to me.
You guys gonna try that or what?
What's that?
You guys gonna try that with the fish in there?
I don't know, we're gonna see if they come back. I'm kind of hoping over time that the ammonia levels in the second aeration chamber get high enough, because that's what we're killing. Because ammonia levels are just knocking right off. So I'm hoping that if the ammonia levels expand out into those chambers and take them out.
And they're not the same type that they test for in the toxicity test.
No, because we failed the ceradapnia test. While we had billions and billions of ceradapnia living in our clarifier.
Get them bigger when we go fishing. Okey dokey.
Had camera problems, eh?
What's that?
You had camera problems in the wastewater pipe?
We did the first time, there's just so much sediment and water that we couldn't even camera the first time, but today we cameraed probably about 1,000 feet. So it worked pretty well. There's still a lot of sediment and water in there, and we found an outfall that's about 2 feet down. We're still gonna have to clean that out and talk to Mike today about trying to get down there and clean out that outfall out there.
Are we gonna have to dam it up?
It's,
I mean, it's below water level, right, still?
yeah.
Yeah, so we have to dam it up or something, because you can't blow it out. I mean, you can try to blow it out, but with a wall of water there, and blackberry bushes, if I remember correctly.
We're talking about cleaning it out there, going out.
Oh, going the other way.
Yeah. Clean it out, excavating it out, and draining it out.
Yeah. Mike talked to our planner today, and they said that's considered maintenance, so you should be able to do that without needing a permit.
Okey dokey. Any other questions on this?
So when is this blowout, clean out gonna happen?
We're gonna talk to Walton Construction possibly. I mean, it could be set up for, next week if the field dries out. Joe Rice didn't want us out there when it was raining, when the field's wet, causing damage to the field. So I think the sooner the better. I think that may be one of the first steps to getting the rest of the pipe cambered.
Well, when I looked at the weather, it's supposed to stop tomorrow. And this occasional
Next
shower
week's gonna be sunny.
again, sunny and warm again.
Perfect.
So shoot for like middle of the week, it's bound to be dry enough to drive out there, I would
Yeah.
think. Paint my house, I was looking at the weather. Okay. Oh. meter reader report. Any questions on this?
Did you replace that lid?
So we can't find a lid out to replace it. I think the whole box has to be replaced, we just can't find a lid out.
What is it?
Because that was like with my house, it had an odd lid, and they made a cement one for it, and somebody dropped it and broke it when it got to my house. So then they just dug out my box and put a different box in there.
So that's done?
No,
No, not in the sidewalk, so we can't use a wooden lid or nothing. It's gotta be steel plate. I think it's in the driveway, isn't it?
Is that?
Hers is in the driveway.
I think so.
Yeah, so it's gotta be steel plate.
So is the meter still leaking at this time?
No, that's a different meter
Oh.
I'm talking about, that's still leaking. They're on our side.
how bad a leak do you think?
What's
Just
that?
drip or little streaming?
No, it's not, it's filling up the water box, but it's not enough to, you know, cause any real concern right now. It's been leaking for a while, so.
And this is the one that a year ago was leaking all the way down to the apartments.
That's that
Yeah, so
That-
Plant used it.
This is
one. Where they tightened it.
No, this is,
You might need to call Went for that one.
Price, Monica Price.
Yeah, sure.
Because they tightened it and they put Bubba on that.
Oh, and they
He cranked it
They
hard.
torqued on it, I mean, they
They
breaker
torqued
barred it.
I thought they were gonna break it.
So we're gonna have to dig up that cork stop, assuming there is one, and replace both of those. Which is why we're watching it leak slowly. Going, it's not that bad.
Well, with the rain coming, Went should be getting free here. Some of their construction things should be slowing down, so they'll have free time.
He said about, he's about three weeks out.
They're still 3 weeks out.
3 weeks out.
Oh, so you already scheduled?
Not scheduled this, but I scheduled a concrete job at the wastewater treatment plant. We're gonna, the little middle part where we have, between the clarifier and the aeration basin, we're gonna pour a layer of concrete in there.
Oh, make a nice walkway.
That's that, yeah.
Well, a ditch, a line ditch anyway, so that when we overflow, it overflows into something we can back up.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna make sure there's no leaks in the air pipes that are right there first?
Air
Before
pipes
burying
are on
them?
the other side.
Huh?
Air pipes are under the wooden walkway. There are leaks in air pipes.
I wanna work on that too, but not create it, could be good. Well, then again, we are building a new plant, so we can maybe wait. Okay, moving right along here. Any other question on that one, that report? Freshwater.
Really much to say on the freshwater report, everything's working well. Looks like the time of use has saved us about $300 on our PG bill that was sitting in, about $300. So keeping on time of use now. So everything's working well there. We still have a leaky tank, but we don't know that.
Yeah. I gotta get up there where my back feels better. Take another picture of that leak. Just
Leaks.
Yeah. I know, but it all goes to kind of one trail.
Yes, it does. It all goes right past the well 3 actually.
Yeah, I know, that way there I can take a picture of it and compare it to my old ones before it rains a lot. Any other questions on the freshwater? On to the wastewater.
Well, we only had one violation in September for nitrate. Everything else seemed to be working well. Phones seem to have started to go down, yet we just had a big, just a little bit though, in the last week or something like that, it started to come back. So I don't know if it's, we're getting, fats and oils from, the cheese factory or what, but it started to go away, and all of a sudden it sprung back. So I'm keeping the chlorination sprayers on it and then knock it down like you were saying with the sprayer. Taking the spray out there.
Right, directly on top of the phone. When I use my 6% solution, I know it's a lot stronger than what you're using, but it melts it like instantly.
Yeah,
It
it
kills it
does.
right off.
Yeah.
I understand that the Locardia, which is what I believe it is a slow growing, so if you get it knocked down, it doesn't just spring back, it takes a little time. luckily, because I've been keeping it like basically gone. It's starting to come back, and I'm just like, spraying that stuff down. I was also curious on the nitrate, how often do you test for nitrate?
Once a month.
You are testing it once a month, but we don't have to.
Oh, you
See,
know,
we don't test for that. That's why I was kind of surprised that we just test quarterly for heavy metals and nitrates and that.
So we did monthly and that was.
Violations cause those requirements, right?
Yeah, but this
What
is
else
the
do
one
you
that's
test
on
for
every time.
monthly?
What's that, copper, ammonia, EPA 624, which are discharge byproducts.
So you have to do that all monthly?
Yeah, monthly, every month.
Did they say why? Is that standard for you guys? For us?
Standard under our permit,
Yeah.
yeah.
They just upgraded us to the grade 3, but we're still doing that quarterly. Those same testing was strictly quarterly.
It's
Be nice.
probably all depends on where your discharge is.
That could be, because ours is in that slough. Yours is in the river. That could be it, yeah, okay, all right, thanks.
Are these, is this a violation that also comes with a fine?
I'm sure they accumulated over, a year, is my understanding, and then they kind of determine what the fines are after that. So, I don't know if it's a monthly, do you know, Marcus?
It should be. What they did is they gave us the new standards, then they issued the cease and desist order. But they averaged these over, I want to say 12 months, and then picked some relatively high percentage and said we couldn't exceed it. Problem is, in summer we exceed it, in winter we don't, so the 12-month average is not very helpful. So if we have nitrate, so when we are calling these violations, they're above that already elevated level. So they should be mandatory minimums, but because of the cease and desist order, I'm not sure.
Okay. My question is, Kevin, is he taking that to the garbage dump or to a dumpster somewhere?
What's that, no, he took it to the garbage dump.
So he's getting paid for that, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Just checking.
Well, I didn't know which part you meant.
Well,
He gets paid for it, and then they charge a fee to take the dump, or take the stuff.
Yeah, you're-
So,
yeah,
everybody
since
gets
he took the
paid.
trip to the garbage, I was assuming,
Everybody gets paid.
yeah, because it's coming out of his pocket, I assume, to dump it, and then he's
Well, there's a
reimbursed.
charge account.
Oh, we have a charge account?
Yeah.
Really? They won't let me have one.
We're uptown.
They won't let me have one there. I'm direct deposit, so I guess I technically you have one. Okay. Any other questions on the wastewater? Other business. You're gonna say Shan, so you're gonna be doing your spiel, so. Well, everybody look at your calendar.
Calendars include general manager's date of accident, break split.
That would have been in August.
Oh, August.
Yeah, yeah, it's right.
August 23rd.
Yeah, see, it was down there at the bottom of August, yeah, it was on the last one. Yeah. Okay. Onward and upward. 7A, SHN, resolution. You want to speak?
I want to speak, just to inform you guys what's happening with workman's comp. So my doctor has cleared me to do desk work. Can't stand. At this point, that's obviously going to be changing over time. The way that my hours are reported are 16 hours a week. We've talked every December about how many hours I got.
How many hours now?
16 is what's reported to SDRMA. And that's whatever the division is that payroll does. So what workers' comp is requesting is that I report actual hours worked before their pay period ends. So they had a pay period end yesterday.
Oh,
And I told them I worked 5 hours last Thursday, 3 hours Friday, 3 hours. I was planning to work 3 hours Tuesday, 3 hours Wednesday, worked 3 hours today. I think if we just jump back with me reporting actual hours worked, they say it all, they have to plug it into some magical formula, which apparently they're not happy with the formula, but that's not my problem. They will cut a check, and then once I get that check, I will get a copy of the receipt or whatever that attached, bring it in, and then ask to be paid on the balance for the hours I worked. Is that, again, does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
But the 16 is the part that I've always felt was fishy before and still.
Do you have, from the doctor, a back to work release?
I have a note, the doctor says due to surgery, Marcus Drum is limited to desk work.
I was gonna ask,
Doctors aren't very good about writing exactly.
Part-time,
anything.
full-time, 3 hours, or 16 hours?
Desk work, generally then things fall back. Let's say, God forbid it happened today, then it would be my job as supervisor to sit down with him and either find alternative work or what work he can do, what work he can't do, and then then the district would have to come up with some kind of job description that's complicated or made easier, depending on how you think of it, by the fact that it's me.
okay, now this difference that you're going to be getting from us, you don't have to ask each time, would this be just something that you can take care of? You don't have to come in and ask us each month?
I don't have to ask the board each month. What I do have to do is make sure that our, whoever does our payroll is hyper aware of what I'm getting paid as a percentage by workman's comp.
Right, 'cause I wouldn't want you to have to wait.
So, well, it's a little different than that,
Okay.
because of the way it's set up. You're on a salary basis right now.
Yeah, that's what
So they're not gonna be able to just cut you an hourly check for 5 hours that
Yeah,
were overlooked. It doesn't work that way.
yeah.
So you're gonna have to figure out how to get a monthly number, I believe.
Okay.
Jump in
I have
anytime.
no idea.
That people
Yeah, I say,
have-
because the workers' comp things are
None
weird.
of this
I
sounds
just know
normal to
that
me.
the system is not gonna allow them to randomly pay you unless you wanna convert something to an hourly wage.
When you say they, you mean us?
No.
Okay.
You refer to the
Okay, so
people
the
who do
payroll.
payroll.
Got it.
Well,
That's ACOG and it.
Okay.
Your numbers,
Well, this is something I've
Well,
got.
what, if you have
I've got,
experience with this,
Well, if you're released back to work, you're not on workman's comp.
you can do
Yes.
partial release.
yes, you are. Okay, that's where I'm gonna tell you a weird story that I got. I was driving a truck and a guy hit me. Okay, well, that put me on light duty, but I was still under workman's comp because I was still under doctor's care, and they sent me back to do light duty. What do you do light duty at a truck?
Right.
There ain't a lot. So they put me in the back room with a shredding machine. And I sat there and shredded years and years of paper. When I got my workers' comp check, I had to give it to them, and then they paid me hourly, my regular truck driving wage.
Wow.
You countersigned it over, basically?
Yeah. Now, that was the weirdest thing I've ever ran across.
I'm not
So-
sure that they would allow that. these
Yeah,
days.
I don't
Sounds
know.
like a really bad idea.
Well, other than my check went a lot huge, but then again, I'm missing out on, because workers' comp is not taxable.
Right.
That's
So
tax-free
it's
money.
like 60%, 60 cents on the dollar, completely without deductions.
I don't know anything about the money part, but when an employee is injured on the job and returns back to work, the employer has to have that doctor's release order, because
Well, yeah.
you could re-injure yourself or further injure
Well,
yourself.
But if you give him a thing saying he gets to go back to a desk, you
Well,
pretty
that's
much get, yeah, what?
It's a little more complicated, I think.
Yeah,
We need to have
yeah.
another party involved in this. The doctor's note says the 10th. Released, Marcus's note says October the 10th.
Oh, I'm good,
Was released to go back to work. Well, they're essentially looking at you as getting off of them and onto the other, whatever it is you're moving into.
yeah. So you
So-
might not get workers' comp. Well, you
So-
talk to her?
I talked to workers' comp and I reported last Friday the number of hours that I planned to work through Wednesday. And they were gonna put that in the formula. They should have They said they would cut a check on Wednesday, I don't know when I'll get it. Because they do it, their pay period, call it pay period is every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
which is already different than ours, which is
Yeah.
it.
bi-monthly.
So last Friday was the 13th,
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
then that would make Tuesday, the previous Tuesday, the 10th.
Right.
Do they have a?
So if you've been back to
wait a
work
minute.
since the 10th,
I'm getting
Yes.
confused between state.
If you go to the hospital, no.
you have no hours.
It's our principal.
Oh, it was 2 weeks.
Before the 11th, no.
No, it's a week.
I don't have any
If
hours
you-
before
I'm
the
thinking
12th,
state of
sorry.
California.
Workers' comp,
You miss a
see,
week.
you must have wanted to get off of
You
workers' comp,
are
or you
injured
wanted to get
more
back to
than
work.
3 weeks.
I
and then
think
you get
everyone
a
wants
week
me
back.
to get
Well, that's not the answer. That's not the
So-
answer.
Yeah.
The idea is they're looking for this to begin, you accumulating hours.
They're looking for an accurate reporting of the percentage of my job that I'm working.
And let's see, what was that percentage? 3 hours a day?
I told them that according, and I can certainly supply the ones I get from Acock Edgeman, that it's estimated 16 hours. That's what
Okay,
it says on
so
my pay
it's a
stub.
16-hour period, and you're converting that to part-time desk work. There's, find that number. Is that 3 hours?
3 hours would be 75%, but when I talk to workers' comp, they want me to actually report hours, and then they put it in their formula. So I think once I get my check from them, I will be able to establish a percentage at least for that time. Hopefully, I hope this doesn't create more problems, not more problems, it will create more problems. I hope that it will be intelligible between ACOG and workers' comp. What I don't want to do is double dip. I do not want to end up in
No.
How about the 2 days?
That's a fine.
No
How about
doubt.
the 2 days
Yeah, that's
off
fine.
of when you got injured?
the 24th and
You were paid
25th.
through the 25th, but you got injured on the 23rd. And you were supposed to talk to them about those 2 days.
I talked to them, I should talk to them again.
Well, you get it. Workers' comp is a weird duck because they don't pay you the first week unless you're out for more than
Yes.
3 weeks. Then they back pay.
Yeah.
They paid
Wait a
me
week,
after 2,
And then they paid
they
you.
cut a check after 2 weeks.
Right,
Their
for
pay
that first
period,
week.
now their pay period goes back to the 23rd or 24th, the day after I'm injured. But what I don't know is whether for that period they paid me 60% or 50%. I don't know if they paid me the percentage for the full period.
Okay. Well, John has a thought here. Let her rip.
You're injured on the date,
23rd of August.
23rd of August. You get paid every 2 weeks in your salary.
No, I paid twice a month.
Twice a month. It's
Right.
been,
Well, that's why.
more than 2 weeks.
I'm just saying, this is,
Like
Like
every month.
15 days, roughly.
Yep.
So, if you only came in the office 1 hour during that pay period, the board can agree or disagree with this. You get your salary check.
the board can agree to
Keep your medical,
anything, but
don't mess with that double dip money thing, and you didn't miss out on nothing.
You might hear the rest of this. I've heard a little bit more than you have. How long do you expect to be
Yeah.
in this
Yeah, part-time.
situation? 6 months, I heard?
I don't know. I've heard 3 months before I can walk basically without a crutch, but, they have websites for anything from 30-year-olds to 70-year-olds. And every injury is slightly different. So, and in this job, in the field can mean anything from reading meters to climbing water tanks.
You could read meters, you think?
No, not now.
Well,
But I can read
Let's get a
meters
scooter.
before I can climb water tanks.
okay, but none of that's in question.
Okay,
This is
so
released to do desk work, is that not right?
this is released to do desk work
Okay,
and
there's
nothing
no
more
water
than that.
meters on the desk,
At this
no
point, there's
tanks.
nothing more than that.
Larry's salary doesn't quite come in there, so he would
And the
have
next
to-
person who would be able to release me anymore actually switches over to the physical therapist. Because the doctor's
Isn't that
now,
how he's released to work?
well, not quite, the PA's got another 2 weeks, but then that office, I don't think is gonna want to see me anymore.
Advisor to the interim.
Okay, I would like to discuss it with Stacy
We don't have
Edgeman,
to create one.
Aycock and Edgeman.
He can
Uh,
advise.
the
We haven't
accountants.
listened to this here. Yeah.
need to get this amount of information that Marcus is sharing to Stacy Edgman, they're the accountants, and see what their feedback is,
Mhm.
and if she doesn't know, she can find out, and then we can know more about
Is that
where it's
SDR
going.
man?
Pardon?
No.
Stacy is with who?
Acock and Edgman.
Our
Okay.
accountant, or
And
check writer.
what does the board think, it's not a motion, it's just a question. What does the board think about contacting a phone call to the attorney? Doesn't the attorney ever hear about anything like this?
Well,
I don't think we need a legal thing on this, it's not
Yeah,
a
'cause-
dispute, it's just trying to figure out how he's gonna get paid.
yeah, because,
And whatever gets worked out, the only thing is that we make sure that you get paid regularly instead of having to hang around and wait and stuff like that, so, however, workman's comp wants to pay you and then we cover the difference.
And this is probably the best thing, and
Yes.
also keep
It's
in mind
pretty
the
straightforward.
Monday and Friday thing. Got it set up now where the office is closed
Yeah,
Monday and Friday. So you should build your schedule within that.
And I would, again, bounce this off the board, but because if I'm not gonna do field work, then I would rather do fewer, longer days. Maybe even send stuff home on my computer. I mean, one of the reasons I came in every day is in case complaints come up in the field, and nothing I can do about complaints in the field at this point. I can answer emails that come up, but, I mean, we have a USA Blue Book that's sitting on my desk. I don't know, did you do that? Just because I saw the blue and green paint. There's a USA Blue Book request.
Yeah. for
I
that
only saw the
content.
paint, that's the only reason I'm asking. Anyway, there's stuff like that I can't, not at this point. I mean, as soon as I can walk, I can do it.
If you wanna work at home, it's fine with me.
The office hours.
Well, I just want, I don't want anyone to be surprised. So, this is what I know, this is how I'm proceeding.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I would like to know so that when I represent this, to get facts about how it's handled, I can do that based on Tuesday through Thursday, and you're gonna build hours in there, which would be, what, 75% of 16?
I'm planning to do 12, yes, that is the plan.
Okay.
I told workers' comp, I plan to do 3 hours a day, let's see how it goes, I haven't even been in the office yet. So, and they said, well, that's why we report your hours on basically weekly basis or bi-weekly basis.
So that's what I'm gonna ask her to look at, is 12 hours in a period, which turns around to kind of be 24-hour period.
With the bi-monthly,
And
yeah.
that's, yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay, just make sure it gets covered.
Yeah, just,
right,
If
that's.
anything happens or comes up, you can get a hold of us and
yeah,
we can
That
do
would
if
it.
there's something weird, yeah.
We can
Well,
always,
I
Make
need to
sure
know,
it
and
gets
they will
covered.
need to know. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to come off the salary, you're gonna have to convert that into a number.
That's what you have to do, then.
Yeah, because he's not gonna get all these hours, because
Right.
part of his hours were out in the field, and now he no get.
well, get those from workers' comp until I can do it again.
But you don't want to get too far away from the workers' comp because you're not well.
Yeah.
So as long as I can't be in the field,
And tripping around in that office, who knows, you may have
they
breakdown.
had anticipated 2-3 months, but again, no two situations, no two legs and ankles are the same.
Yeah.
And no two jobs are the same, right? That's,
Yeah,
if
okay.
they could make me shred papers 8 hours a day, they would. Not you
didn't
would,
tell
I'm not
you, yeah.
you guys, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's to get you off
I
of
understand,
workers' comp.
we don't have it, well,
Yeah.
we don't have it.
I think it's already $100,000,
What is,
the bill.
is it? I've seen the emergency bills, I haven't seen the surgery bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got concerns from this board director to share with the other board directors, and it also involves, you should be keeping records, by the way. You're not used to what I've been going through for years, but medical stuff, you need to start a note for it, just a friendly advice. Ann is our records retention person, and I have asked Ann for information, and she didn't know. You gotta know, because when the phone call comes in from the workers' comp, SDRMA, the answer can't be, I don't know. That's why I'm asking for dates and stuff. I said, does he have a doctor's note? You said, I don't know.
Oh, today?
A release note, yeah.
If they said they have one.
Yeah,
I
now,
saw the one that released October the 10th
Yeah,
in the basket, but,
I just don't think you're gonna get a surgeon to give you a better one.
No,
um,
they're vague. On a good day.
so there was that.
it's the 10th of,
October.
October.
That's when they pulled the rods out and put me in a cast.
and on the, I'm more concerned with the value of your medical, to me, is worth more than your paycheck. And
Okay.
just said 100,000.
Okay, that I've been approved for 12 hours or whatever sessions of work, of rehab at this point. I had to call in the Ponte, I guess it is, which is one of the PTs in Eureka, right next to the doctor I went to. They're supposed to call me back. Apparently everyone has a 2-week backlog.
Never mind.
Well, I did not get my prescription from my surgeon until yesterday, so they're having me stretch it in this, they're talking about taking this off in 2 weeks, and then they said as soon as you get an appointment, you can go ahead and start VT.
All right.
But I can tell you now that right now, they still want no weight on it. It's all stretching at this point.
Yeah.
And believe me, it's restricted. I can move it in every direction, but it's restricted.
So when you were talking a few moments ago about the time, is this a clock started at 3 months on this before pressure gets on it?
No, the clock, so the initial clock was, that I had read was 10 to 12 weeks. I ended up a week before surgery, 7 weeks with the rod, 2 weeks, 1.5 weeks with the cast. Now I'll have this for 2 weeks, and then apparently I'll get rid of this, and then if I can walk on it, hallelujah, but it would be a miracle. So, I mean, there's no muscle left.
And when
So
do you drive?
As soon as I can bear the pain.
That's not an answer.
I've heard as early as 2 weeks with a stick, and I've heard normal is a couple months. But if I can put weight on the toe, I can drive. Because you can drive, well, especially with an automatic. If I can get here, then jumping around with crutches is not as big a deal.
Is there a phone in this room? A wired phone? Because you could be doing this from your house.
No, there's no word.
There's a phone here.
Well,
No.
the reason I can is if I do it on a phone, you have, not that you can't, but you have to let any member of the public who requests it, because you turn it into a teleconference.
Yep.
And any board member who wants to stay at home can do it.
Yeah.
So once you open that door,
Yeah, you
that door's open.
Yeah, you did. We did.
I was having
So
a,
you could make a note to find out about those 2 days. If they get lost and then they're gonna come back, don't want that.
Yeah, so.
I don't know what, other than I'm receiving, scuttlebutt from the public, make sure you get a doctor's release note. And I go, yeah, that's right, I've been through this too.
Yeah. What she's got.
And I think that the board needs to move second and vote for the office hour changes, because otherwise the board of directors did not do that to the public.
We gave them,
Right.
we gave
They
notice.
We
said 2
can
weeks
report
after the
formality, formalize
But I
it
don't know
tonight.
whether they paid me I don't know whether they paid me
Nothing.
10 days.
Dates.
Right.
Everything stays the
Okay.
same.
Changing the.
All right, sorry for that
And as far as,
diversion.
as far as,
Sorry for the diversion. We come back.
as far as the general manager, the district must have a general manager. At this time, instead of saying David Rodriguez is filling in, and he's gonna be working 3 hours, I suggest that we officially appoint David Rodriguez as interim general manager, and the 3-hour job that you're hunting for, you can be his right-hand man, advisor, until such a time that we reverse this.
I'd be his right.
Well,
Yeah, because technically,
if you want to survive,
So you
yeah.
showed how we were gonna work it out.
yeah, because technically he's gonna tell him, his right hand, go over here,
Go
go
away.
there, go
Yeah,
here, go
yeah.
there, do this.
Kind of,
So it's kinda like-
but as far as the legalities, and it looks like the board's right on top of it, we have to have at least a full-time.
We have to have a CPO. We
Yeah.
do not have to have a general manager. It's not required we have a general manager. It is required by law, we have a chief plant operator.
Which we have.
Which we have.
But
they
you
both
change
fill.
his job title, again, he still has the responsibility.
And you can have two job titles.
There we go.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah, it's,
So is there opposition to appointing David Rodriguez to?
well, I think it's still as is, because if he's not there, he is there, so. I don't know.
You meet with that attorney a lot more, I never have.
Well, I know the district ran without a general manager for quite a while.
Yeah. We've done that as well.
The job is
No,
going
it's
to get
before
done,
Marcus
it's
came
gonna be
in.
done by Dave or me or whoever else
Yeah.
needs to do it. What you call it,
Yeah. Yeah, because technically now we have two general managers. Because he's still under, we gave him the position earlier when he broke his ankle. So he still hasn't been released, and they're both still running under the title. Am I right?
Yeah.
So,
Are you chiming in? Does David Rodriguez deserve an elevated pay grade?
I think maybe you should,
I don't know.
he's already paid.
He's already up.
Or we just take a savings?
he's getting paid out.
He's paid hourly, so
I think he's actually paid more than I am.
Yeah, right.
He's paid supervisory wages.
Yeah, so he's already waged for it. So, okay,
Are you
I'll
happy
figure
with
out,
Yeah, he's well compensated.
okay, so figure
I
out,
appreciate it.
figure out the thing with workers' comp pay and our district pay. Let us know what that's gonna inspire out to be. So, okay, on to 7A, SHN Resolution 17-03. You guys good?
Sure, yeah, Chuck Swanson, SHN, filling in for Mike Fogut this evening. Yeah, the main reason why I'm here is to answer any questions that I can try to answer any questions you may have regarding the resolution. I would, you've had the opportunity to review it. It's an approval for the initial study mitigated negative declaration for the wastewater treatment facility project.
Yeah.
That I'm sure you're familiar with. Other updates that we have at this time. As David mentioned, we've been doing some camera work at your direction with Mullen Construction, and for the most part, what we've seen has been relatively good. You know, David mentioned that there's about 200-foot sections that it looks like it's got some pretty serious issues, some cracking and caving in. Sediment needs to be cleaned out downstream. Main thing is getting downstream, right, and cleaning out that wetland area, so there's somewhere for the outfall to go. And the cleaning can proceed in terms of jetting the line and inspecting the rest of it before a decision is made whether or not to repair or replace parts of it. Any questions on any of that?
Are you working down or up?
We
Down, up, down?
So we started on the downstream end,
Okay.
and it was completely underwater because
Right.
the sediment down in the wetland area is about 2 feet above the top of the pipe.
Okay.
So the water then is backed up at that level, and it's a relatively flat pipe, as you can imagine, across that field out there. So there's a lot of water all the way up essentially to the treatment plant, which is what happened the first day that we went out there. We started the outfall end and realized that there was, 3 feet of water in all the manholes along the pipeline through Joe Rice's field and Gisoli field. So then we went back to the wastewater plant, try to start there, being the up gradient end of the pipe, it would be higher in elevation. We were able to see some of the pipe, there was still some water in it. That's when we did a brief inspection of a few hundred feet upstream and downstream from that point. And then today we returned with a Vector truck, Wallen Construction brought their Vector truck that can also do jetting and cleaning of the line. And so they started sucking the water out, but there was enough water in there that it took most of the day just to remove enough water that we could then do some camera work. But there was still, the pipe was still full at the downstream end near the wetland. So that's when we returned upstream towards the slough, it was a broker slough, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to camera roughly 800 feet in that area.
So, the reason I'm asking is that 800, does the 800 feet start at the wastewater plant?
No, so there was about, probably about 200 feet near the wastewater plant. The 800 feet is from the slough downstream towards
Okay.
the outfall.
I'm just thinking, the reason I'm asking is, if you have a break or cave in, you're gonna get mud in, you're gonna get water in. But the closer it is to the wastewater plant, the more likely it is we have wastewater leaving through those holes when we back up and flooding that area. The farther down, the more mitigated that's gonna be. So we haven't actually we don't really know about the section, basically from the wastewater plant to that pond.
Correct. I was able to visually, I saw the part of the pipe as it comes out of the ground and it starts to go through the slough. We go on Van Porter's, which is always property, and it seemed to be in good condition, but it was only about 15 feet of the pipe that I could see. It's extremely thick vegetation in there.
Yeah, that's good. That's why it's not been stepped on.
Yeah.
I make a motion to adopt the resolution number 17-03.
Can we hold off on that?
So make a motion. Okay, did you have a question?
Well, yeah. This resolution mentions, June 15th, 2017. And I compared this with June, and it's the same one. Same one I had problems with. For the same reason why it was tabled and is back here tonight with the same thing. This includes,
This is the one that went to the public, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, this is one we went around to send to the public to find out if they had any questions about that big booklet thing we got. That was that's what this
well,
is.
I'm speaking out because the members of the public are speaking to me and they're not happy with the idea that this resolution is not straightforward involving one accomplishment. It accomplishes at least two things: that we're going to enter into a lease agriculture land near the wastewater plant. It doesn't say where, and it doesn't say whom we're going to lease it from. It doesn't include the cost. And so if this is signed off tonight, as Jim began to say, I move to approve, it is too ambiguous and there's no transparency to even this director, let alone how can I answer to a public when my answer is going to be, I don't know. So I don't want to just rubber stamp this document in the shape that it's in. Today in the office, Marcus gave me verbal heads up, but it's not in the board packet that this agricultural land near the wastewater treatment plant was to be Mr. Gentoli.
I gave you a summary of the draft memorandum of understanding.
And, but if this is signed, basically, we need nothing further. And there is no board involvement, and this would include, a blank check.
Okay, so
It can go from 5,000 with Gentoli or 20,000 with Mr. Rice, and the address can change, and also where the wastewater plant is now. The last thing I heard from Mike is that we no longer need to secure additional land. We're going to build it on the same piece of property where our existing treatment plant is.
Marcus had
yeah, so what this, again, please correct me if I'm wrong. What this resolution would do is say that after publishing the environmental documents, both on the state website and on our office door and at the wastewater plant, that the board finds that the general plan that has been submitted to the state, which again has not defined yet the exact locations, does not require a full environmental impact report, and will, and basically making a negative declaration, which is again doublespeak, that it will not cause, that regardless, as long as we're within any of the parameters described, we will not cause environmental harm. And that no one has said that we would, which is the other part of publication. No one made no one, again, when I say comments, that means they either sent them to SHN or sent them to us or sent them to the state clearinghouse or the county recorder. That's where we had it posted. That they have an environmental issue with it. That our conclusions are not, sorry, that the conclusions stated are invalid. So what this does is say that the project as broadly described will not cause environmental harm.
It does say that,
Or actually is it
but the last sentence in the
less
first
than
paragraph
significant, I believe.
says, the last sentence and the last thing said in the first paragraph, June 15th, it says in brackets, project description by SHN dated June 15th, 2017. And the only fish in that pond was Mr. Rice in that whole thing presented in June. And it kept getting more expensive and more ugly, and it was like, no way. So this document would be set in concrete. In addition to all the right things that the general manager just said, it also legally says you have it in writing, the project description by SHN dated June 15th, 2017, all the things that I wouldn't vote on and I wouldn't recommend to any of my friends and neighbors, constituents. That it involves being at the mercy of Mr. Rice, who can tell us to get out in 30 days. And this is a $6 million project that we can't just build, enjoy for 2 months, and then be told to leave in 30 days. That alone is no.
I don't read this as locking us into anything at all. It just says that there's not going to be any significant problems with the environment for doing this. If that whole project changes, then it's fine. This doesn't lock us into anything.
Well,
So it's just saying that we're doing fine with what we're doing so far.
well, I did point out what's written right in front of us that says project description by SHN dated June
It's fine,
15th.
it's because that's what we were dealing with, so. All this says is that project will not give us any environmental damage, that's all it says.
It
It
does say
doesn't say
that.
anything else, it doesn't say we have to do it, it doesn't say that somebody's got a blank check, it doesn't say anything else. Everything else has to be passed through just like it would otherwise, so all this says is that there's no significant environmental effect from this project, period, that's all it says.
And I believe the mitigate negative declaration is that, that there are significant impacts, but they will be mitigated for. So any impacts that there are will be mitigated for, I believe is the purpose of mitigating.
Yeah, it says at the bottom paragraph, with the inclusion of specific mitigating measures, will be rendered less than significant. So it includes whatever mitigation, well, whatever we've got so far, and then it, again, as the project changes, it will change minorly, and I think a change of location for irrigation within the same coastal zone is minor, but that's my interpretation. It would still apply.
I believe that's the intent at this point, being that there is no designated location for the discharge, is that once one is identified and secured, that the biological reports and some of the environmental studies that have been conducted for the initial planned site could then be amended or redone without, as Marcus mentioned, significant changes to the impacts, the description of the impacts, such that this document would still be a valid document, even if it was not the initial field that we had identified, but maybe say the next one over or two over. So that's my understanding of it.
And I would like it if you would change this draft to include what it is, which most of it is about the environmental impact, and I haven't seen anybody having any problem with that, I know I don't. But to include what it is not then, it's an option to include what it's not, but at least remove the suggestion in June of 2015, or remove that sentence. The LCSD will lease agricultural land here, wastewater treatment plant.
No matter
and
what.
construct.
Because that original one said we're still going to Joe Rice, because we will, because our pipe's still gonna go over there. Our discharge
The
pipe.
outfall pipe continues to go through his property, but if you were to irrigate a different property, you wouldn't necessarily need to construct a new pipeline across his property.
If that's the case, then can I have that worded in here?
I believe.
Take out what you need, what I need, put in what you need. I'm not for the Joe Rice thing, but if that's the way it is, can we have full transparency in this resolution document and include the name Joe Rice? And how about some mention of the cost in the resolution?
You don't have costing on
Yeah.
resolutions. That's
Well,
not
in the
part
two-
of this.
In the project description by SHM dated June 15th,
But the
2017.
intent of this is just to say that there's not going to be any environmental damages without mitigation. That's it. That's all it says. It's got nothing to do with construction costs or anything else. It's just
No, it
strictly.
says something about a lease, and I want that to be transparent. It says what you said it says. I do not disagree with you. It clearly states what Marcus said, what Jim said. It clearly does. But in the first paragraph, it definitely points to the project description by SHM dated June 15th. It also states, and this has got nothing to do with the negative deck, it states that the district will lease agricultural land.
Well, we will.
And Marcus told me today, Jim Tolley, I'm hearing tonight, no, it's gonna be Mr. Rice.
So,
There's a difference of $40,000 between the two people that we may or may not lease
I thought we were going to renter.
from. And
that's the current draft.
that's a third.
Do you know if the, does the posted and mitigated neg deck refer to the project description as the one, as the one in June 15th, do you know?
I don't know.
If not, we could strike project description. Because these are all whereases.
I'm for heightened transparency rather than just striking it and still leaving it muddy. Because when people ask me a question, I don't want to say, I don't know. Why did I vote for it? If I didn't even know what I was voting for? You know, it doesn't make any sense.
To me, it's obvious it's not gonna pass, so why don't we table this till next month?
Well, other than just table it, can we have a rewrite? You wrote the resolution?
I don't know if the resolution is drafted by SHM. But without knowing what specifically was published in the neg deck, and I have those documents. But again, I'm pretty sure this has to match whatever is published in the neg deck, so otherwise we have to go through another 45-day period, after which, again, no one made any comments on this one. But that would set everything back at least 60 days, is my understanding, if we had to affect at least 60 days, because it would have to be drafted. What I don't know is how stuck we are on the whereases here, as opposed to now the therefores at the bottom. Because the statement, the now therefore is what you're actually
They're approving.
resolving,
Right.
is paragraph 1. The whereases are, I suppose you could, they're actually weak, sort of weaknesses, and that if they were horribly wrong, someone could go back and say, your assumptions when you made this last statement are mistaken. But the statement you're making is paragraph 1.
Well, I've got the motion out there to approve it. Then table it till next month.
Well, with you reading that, are you good with it, or are we?
Here?
Yeah. Now therefore,
just supports the first paragraph.
Well, I guess now we'll probably have to have a special meeting and
I have to talk to Mike about what the deadline is for this.
Well,
So either we're gonna have to call a special meeting where we bring this back, or bring something that is different than this, but is consistent with what was posted, or we have to repost. But again, I've gotta check all that with Mike, or maybe check with Mike.
who is this holding back, and why did you say it delayed for 60 days? I don't see construction gonna go on during the winter here in Louisa.
Because this has to accompany the grant application, and I believe it has to accompany the final, well, actually, this is the environmental submittal for the grant and the project approval. We have to finish our environmental, so this is the last step in environmental that we have completed in mid-neg deck, and published it for 45 days, or at least 30, but I think it was 45 days. It's probably on here somewhere.
Well, in your notes, history, the last spoke with Mike, he would contact Renner, Gentoli. I think he's contacted Rice a couple times, and each time comes back with a worse, in my opinion, deal. Then he knows I've seen this and rejected it in June, and now I'm rejecting it in October. And, you know, a couple sentence changes up here to include the name, the lease amount, the longevity of that lease, because anything less than 25 years, you get a no from me. This is a $6 million project, and there's no place to move it. You put us back, in my opinion, you put us back to where we are today. We've got no place to end the effluent.
If I may.
Yeah.
So I believe the purpose of this is to address environmental impacts and not necessarily to address specificity, lease agreements and project costs and things associated more that the state board is going to require for the grant application and funding of the project. I believe these are specifically to fulfill environmental impact state requirements.
Understood.
So I believe that's why there isn't
I
any.
think location though is pertinent, because if you run tests on one man's land and you secure X amount of acreage, this is coming not from me, from Mike. He explained to me
Understood.
what perks, how big that land is now going to be required if we go to Rice versus Gentoli, and he made me understand that. So when you go and do a neg deck on my land versus David's land, one will be more favorable than the other. One will be larger or smaller. One will be more practical or ridiculous. And as a board director, I need to weigh the cost against practicality. And I also want the public to know, upfront, transparent, given the information that I had, that's the way I voted that way. And that I didn't vote for something that had a clause in the contract that comes next, and we're locked into that land because that's where the neg deck was written for, so we can't deviate. Everybody will say, well, yeah, that part's done. We're going to move forward, not backwards. And I'm dealing with a man named Rice that insists on totally covering his butt, and it's a one-sided contract that does not serve the people that I serve. I serve the residents. They are my boss, and I'm not going to do a bonehead thing where I voted for it because I want to stay on schedule and it was the easy way out.
Again, table it.
Okay, so you're not gonna second, so there's no second, so do we have a motion to table it until we figure out what they wanna rewrite and do here?
Do you have a table from Jim? Motions?
Do you wanna?
I had a motion.
Table?
There is no second.
Yes.
So
There's
now
no-
the
there's
motion
no
is
second.
tabled.
Yes.
There's no second, so but opting it is gone. So now we have a motion to table,
Yeah.
okay? So Carr, motion to table. Any second?
Second,
Okay, all those in favor to table until we figure out what's going on with Mike and how to make it right.
I think at this time I'd like to make an amendment to that motion, which is I would like to see the corrections. I saw this in June and I did see it again in October, and I would like to see this changes put in November. That's a motion.
Or it's going to be, well, they're just gonna try to make it more right after. So it'll be in there. Since it's off of his first, we can.
Well, you have a motion to amend right now.
So you want to
Well, you never finished the first one.
There was a first and a second.
second to
And
table?
then
If there
before
was
it
no
was
vote.
voted on,
Yeah,
right, it was
There was no
moved,
vote.
right, not yet, and then there was a motion to amend
and motion to.
The
amend.
main
the
motion.
main motion.
So first we vote on the amendment, then we vote on the main.
That's what I would think, yes.
So.
Well, we
Instead of
didn't have a
motion to
second on
amend
it.
it,
I don't care.
you want a second for motion to amend it?
Motion to amend what?
The main motion.
Amend,
Because-
motion to amend the main motion, and what was the motion, sorry?
To-
To
The
correct
motion-
it? Do you have
The
a-
main motion is to table this item.
Mhm.
The amendment to the motion is, which would be clear enough, is that I would like to have the changes to the written draft resolution number 1703 to include the changes in the first paragraph that I went on and on about. I'm assuming that you took really good notes.
Well, I believe your main issue, if I can speak, is that,
Yep.
alright, the main issue being the location of the agricultural fields for irrigation? Just make-
Location, name, cost of lease, longevity. Is it a
That's
100-year
not
lease?
That's not what this is about.
And, no, second it.
Yeah, that's
Or
not about this.
remove it,
Well,
because I see it written in there and it includes a whole memorandum of understanding in the project description by SHN dated June 15th.
So would just,
So let's pull it out right now.
just striking that last parenthetical phrase would do it for you?
Lolita CSD will lease agricultural land near the wastewater treatment plant facility and construct a land application system for treated effluent, period. A new pump station, well, actually, that's fine. But anyway, yeah, just remove it from the point where I began.
So you would just want to remove project description by
This include that this particular resolution doesn't either does in detail include the location and the lease and how many years it includes. I think that is really, just a really brief overview of something that I would expect to see in greater detail in a lease agreement. But at least for the public to be able to read 25 words, that would be not shocking. Or justification why a board director like myself would say no to this. I want to say yes, but I can't. Because it includes a very vague, blindfolded agricultural, lease agreement. It's not able for me to tell the public, yeah, I voted for that, and we're paying the man to take our water, and we're paying for the equipment, and we pay to fix it, and we pay him for his man hours to move that equipment around. And he can tell us to get out of town in 30 days. It's like, no, I never want to say that. Never want to say any of that.
I believe that would be in the language of the lease agreement.
Yeah.
That's why maybe that doesn't belong in this resolution. Because it makes the asker of the question at fault because they did not read June 15th report by SHM.
Tina, who drafted this? Was this Stein?
Stein.
I can work with Stein to clean it up. Take out everything that may be wrong and make sure that everything in there is correct. And that's what we know by now. And then there will be nothing wrong in it. It may not have everything in it, but nothing in it will be wrong.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know what was included in the original. I don't know how much this needs to mirror something else. in any
It's
way.
all about negative deck. Make it all about negative deck.
I mean, if you're talking about changing the initial study, MND, I believe that would have to get, that would derail,
Right,
since
so
that
that's,
conversation started all over from scratch, so
so
that's
depending,
my understanding.
right, so the question becomes with the whereases here, because those aren't the body of the bottom. What we can do to amend those without republication of the neg deck. I mean, we know we're gonna have to do more environmental depending if we change sites. So we know that already, but this, and then I need to hear from Mike probably what, again, where this is in the timeline, why it's needed, when it's needed, obviously as soon as possible.
Yeah, and every minor change in the project changes the web of
Well,
timelines.
right, so if we can change the description so it's broad, it's clear enough and broad enough and narrow enough, but not change, not make us redo other things. And I think we can do that. But again, and if they say we can't change it, then it'll come back here and to be voted up or down and we'll have to read whatever.
Yeah, Stein would be the one that went to.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a first and a second to table it, and we have a first and a second to amend. Do them separate or?
No, do them all at once.
Amend first.
Okay. Did you got who did the amend? John?
I got
Jim.
a motion to table it,
Yeah,
seconded by John.
yes,
Then I got a motion
to amend
By
to
John.
amend
by John.
changes to the draft to include changes in the first paragraph, more detail he's got. And that's all I have.
Sounds good.
And you're on the second then, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, he seconded. I'm partly deaf. Okay, so we got a first and second to amend. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. We got a first and second to table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I forgot to say opposed on the first one. My bad.
All ayes, right?
All ayes. Okay, now let us know if we need to have a special meeting to not take us too far out of date.
Okay, I'll check with Mike.
Okay. On to 7B, our financials for October. Look,
Motion to table.
motion to table.
Motion.
Did you like that?
Second.
Motion to table October financials. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Oops. Okay. Any other comments before we say goodnight?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we got a motion to adjourn. We have a second.
Oh, second.
Good. We have a first and a second to adjourn. It is, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Yeah. Time is 8:25. Let me know.
We'll try to get, camera or something scheduled. I don't know if you guys want to organize, there's a backer down there.
They're gonna take-
Some
take
of that
this
stuff
kind of
out,
check.
if you want us to cut it.
And our paper,
So I think if you're next time that field dries.
No,
On how we-
Well, I think, Nolan